Hello and welcome to my channel. Let's get ready together for the day. Be prepared for a very quick jump scare in just a minute. Don't forget that if you enjoyed the channel, please subscribe, and then also you can find all of the products in this episode linked in the description. I've been reading the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. First of all, I would highly recommend it. I'm gonna link it in the description, but if you don't already know, Audible, by the way, does a free 30-day trial, and I will link that as well. So if you're into audiobooks, this would definitely be the book. So I was reading this book because I love self-help type of books. And this book talks a lot about many different things, really life in general. But one of my key takeaways has been the idea of self-awareness and accountability. Those things are a little bit scary for people who don't want to take any accountability for the things in their life. It's always much easier to just blame somebody else for where you are in life. Because if you don't blame somebody else, then you have to look at you. You have to point the finger at yourself, and you have to realize that you are where you are, not because of anybody else, but because of either something you've done or something you haven't done. And in order to move from that place, what that means is that you're gonna have to make changes. You're gonna have to put in work and effort. Obviously, that's why it's easier. It's less work if you blame other people. But the really great thing I think about accountability is the upside. It's the positive side, is if you do wanna take change, you don't have to wait for anybody if you do wanna actually make changes in your life. And that's what I love about accountability. And as somebody who is self-employed, accountability is really important. Discipline is important, self-motivation, and something really stuck out to me in the book, and it said that there have been so many studies, and I'm sure there's going to be many more studies about people who have been successful, and what are the common denominators between those people and those others who don't accomplish their goals in life. One study found the reason that successful people accomplish their goals is because they subordinate the things they don't want to do or dislike doing to their bigger goals. That perfectly sums up how I feel and what has always led me in life. And they said, and the reason that you can subordinate these things that you don't want to do and kind of put them at the mercy of the things that you want to accomplish is led by just this internal fire within you. That sentence or two about successful people sums up into words what I've never been able to put into words. One size. In a way that makes so much sense. And the reason I've been able to build my channel and do many other things in life, it's not because of luck, even though it does make you feel like you're lucky when you get to have all of these really high moments. And of course, I've competed in pageants, and so there are a lot of things that are subjective, but I really believe that the odds will be in your favor when you take things into your own hands. And I talk to my coaching clients about this. I always encourage them and I say, let's not make this a beauty pageant. Beauty is way too subjective. So let's make sure that the judges can see your value to the organization and your value as a title holder beyond your physical beauty. Of course, it's a pageant, and some of the fun stuff to me is just getting contestants ready and the outfits and the hair and the makeup and all the styling. It's just enjoyable to me. It's a form of art and expression. But I don't encourage my clients to ever rely on their physical beauty. I feel like that's a really bad bet. This is the Back to Cali Halo palette, and I love it. I'm gonna use some of the bronzer. But I really loved that message, and it was just a great reminder to even myself, even though that's what I feel like has led me in life, to subordinate the things that I don't like to do and really just focus on the results that you're trying to get. And I feel like I've done that, and I used to do that a lot more when I was younger, but there is something about reaching a comfortable place in life, and it just gives you this false sense of safety. I feel like there's just been times where I've been a little bit too comfortable in the past few years, and that is not at all to say that life has been easy or simple or it's such a breeze to be an entrepreneur. No. What I mean is that I definitely could be doing more. I could be making better use of my time, and I could have been further along than I already am with my channel. Next, we're gonna go on with this lighter color. I just use this as my eyeshadow. Everybody keeps asking about this makeup look lately, and I'm like, it's the same makeup look. It's so interesting though that sometimes in certain episodes, people say, oh, I really, really love your makeup. And I'm thinking, thank you, but it's the same makeup. I've been doing this makeup for a while, so this is just lazy makeup. I forgot to set the rest of my face. We're gonna go on with this Revlon Color Stay. Just kind of powder everything else up because I'm so oily. I don't love this powder, by the way. Use any brown pencil you prefer. Grab a smudge brush. You're gonna want a matte brown shadow or dark shadow, one of these. I always just kind of dab the outer corner. It's kind of messy. I go back and forth with this. Really just focus on the lash line. Then I just angle this up. Even though this isn't liquid, I do feel like it does dry in a way. And this pencil was $2 from Wet n Wild. Now grab your smudge brush, dip it, tap it, and then I just press it into my liner, into the lash line, smudge it out. Now I do like to go in with another lighter color, and I don't know these colors because I dropped this palette and I mixed them up putting them back in, so I don't know the color, but this is just a very fair skin tone. Go in to make sure this doesn't crease. So anyways, this book just, I don't know, gave me some new perspective again. And sometimes, well, I guess not new, but sometimes it's not always about new. It's about just a refresher. And it gets you excited about things again. It gets me excited about the work that I do, the videos that I create, the projects that I take on, my work at QBN, which if you haven't already, please subscribe to QBN. I'm super excited. We've just launched and we're working on getting even more episodes out onto the program. That is where you can watch Talk of the Crown with myself and Louis Portela's. We do really, really fun topics, and it's different from both of our channels. My eyelids are uneven, so this one gets more than the other one. Illusions. Yeah, I've really just been enjoying this book as I get ready for New York Fashion Week. I've just been reading it day by day on the train. It's been very delightful. This is just the e.l.f. brow pencil. The other thing that the book just really gave me a new sense of was just gratitude, because that obviously has a lot to do, I think, with your perspective on life. And I've seen some really interesting things online, just people talking about the course of history and how your average American, right? Like even, you know, your average American who has bills and some debt and student loans, and you know, your life's not perfect and you might feel like it's boring because you don't get to go on all the cool vacations you see on Instagram, you know, even that person, right? Like your average, that their life is so much better now than any other time in history because of conveniences that we forget about, like access to hot water. Think about how nice a hot shower is if you have access to it. Think about how there are places also in the world that don't have access to hot water, or they might not have the access regularly, or maybe you're somebody watching this right now that doesn't have access to hot water, and you can say, yes, like I agree, like having a hot shower might be nice. And obviously it's not a necessity, but I feel like in places like America, a lot of times we just look at our lives and we think, oh my goodness, everything is so bad. And it's like, but if you think about just this particular time in history that we happen to be born in, there's so many modern conveniences, right? Where things that just make your life simpler. Like a blow dryer. I think about that all the time. Like, gosh, imagine, I mean, a blow dryer to me is just luxury. It's so nice to have a blow dryer. When you want to dry your hair, it just gives you a lot more freedom to style it. My brows look very dark right now. Even those things are amazing. Or being able to cook indoors on a gas or an electric stove. We look at our lives so much and we compare ourselves to sponsored, collaborated posts and extravagant vacations and all sorts of things on social media, and suddenly we start to feel unhappy. You know, they say comparison is the thief of joy, right? I love that this book just gave me this renewed sense of gratitude for everything. Lovely reminder when you can look at your life a little bit more objectively, especially in the bigger picture of things, and just say, things aren't that bad. I highly recommend it. I just feel like the concept of happiness is so interesting, because you can look at people that have everything in the world seemingly, but they don't really have everything, right? Like maybe they'll have all the money in the world, but they don't have their health, or maybe they don't have a loved one, and maybe we do. And I was literally brought to tears yesterday when I was sitting and working in Starbucks, and I see this older woman, and she had a caretaker with her, and the caretaker was taking her on a little outing to Starbucks and got her a treat. And you could tell it was a caretaker because she's dressed as a nurse, and they didn't seem to have personal conversation. It was just mainly showing concern for her care. And I was sitting there, and this old woman was a few feet away from me, and she smiled at me and I smiled at her, and she reminded me so much of my grandparents. Oh gosh, I shouldn't even talk about this. I'm gonna cry again. She reminded me of my grandparents, and when I was able to help care for them, especially my grandmother at the end of her life. It just reminded me how much I missed them, and I wondered about the woman. I wondered what family she might have. I wonder how much time she gets to spend with them. And in that moment though, it was like this sad happiness, like this sad happy. But I see people that have their grandparents, and I really wish that I had that. I've had a difficult relationship with my parents throughout my life, if I'm being completely honest, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. But when I think about my grandparents and the time that I got to have with them, it's just this nice reminder that my parents are still alive. There's still time to spend with them in a way that I don't have with my grandparents. And see, so you may look at somebody's life from the outside, or you may look at my Instagram, and it's so strange because I really do like to keep things positive. I feel like your mindset is so important, and I don't think it helps if you dwell on things that are negative. And so I try to just be super positive with all of my content, and I'm always posting obviously the highlight reel, right? We want to share the things that are most exciting in our lives, right? But a lot of my life is just spent in coffee shops editing, or at home editing, or sewing, and so it's not like super glamorous. And I just don't like, oh, it's my favorite. It's the Pixie Balm. It's for your lips, but I put it on my cheeks. I do try to talk a little bit more about serious things on my channel, or share in episodes like this. I don't want people to look at my life from the lens of my Instagram and compare your own life to my Instagram. Gosh, don't we all wish that our lives looked like those lovely highlight reels? They don't. Oh, I love this. I hope you never look at my social media and feel bad about your life, or compare your life to mine, or feel behind in any way just because we're at different chapters. Last, we're gonna remove all that makeup. This is a lip liner from BSN. Don't know what that is. I got it at a random beauty shop. Not a huge name brand. It was like $2. I can't talk. I like to use a brown tone lip liner lately. Then I go back in with the Pixie Balm. Put it in. Anyway, so I hope that if you look at my life through the lens of Instagram, that you'll always remember those are the highlights. And they are good moments. They're not fake, they're real, but it's not every day, and I still can't really move the top lip. Nobody's life is perfect, and everybody has things that they wish were different in their life. But I feel like what makes a big difference in terms of my happiness lately, because I have felt pretty joyful, is just I've been thinking about everything that I do have, like all the things that I have and I really love. I hope that can help you if you've been struggling to find joy in your life. Now we are done with my makeup look. Super simple. It took me longer than it should have because I was here having a wonderful conversation with you. But thank you for tuning in. Let me know what you want to see next on the channel. I really appreciate all of your support, and I hope to see you very soon. And don't forget, products are in the description.